If you want another entertainment video on YouTube, you can go and click off and watch any other video. But this is a strictly educational video. These types of videos that I make and this channel's purpose is to bring together Muslim men who want to improve in our on-Muslim amelioration, to then be like these Sahaba and get to Jannah and bring as many people as we can there. So please watch the video with understanding and focus and do not click off. For those following with the Muslim amelioration chart, and if you don't know what that is, you can click over here. But basically, this goes into the Iman sub-aspect of Muslim amelioration. And with that, time is priceless, so let's not waste it. Shaitan, the ultimate evil. Who is he? Who is Iblis? And what does he do? Why does he do what he does? And how does he do it? Where is he? And all of these other questions that we may have on Shaitan, I will try and answer them to the best of my knowledge and ability in this video, so that you may take this understanding and use it to fight him and become a better Muslim. Shaitan, otherwise known as Iblis, is the ultimate evil. Everything bad that happens to us happens through him. Every pain, every suffering that humanity suffers is because of him. He is our literal only enemy. Think of that. You and I have this enemy, and he is that enemy. For example, some of the things that happen that are because of him is kufr, the disbelief of truth, murder, enmity, hatred, the spread of immorality and fornication, lust. We can already see everything in society clearly, and that's all because of him. The work of Shaitan is to corrupt and drive people off the straight path. Mankind is his enemy. He wants to drag us to the lowest pit of hell and bring as many people as he can with him. Now let's look into his backstory. Now we know briefly what is he doing or what is his sort of influence, but now let's look into his backstory, where he started out and what he is doing now. Before everything, before the creation of man, Shaitan along with the angels worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then created Adam alayhi salam. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed Adam alayhi salam to the angels, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the angels to prostrate themselves onto Adam alayhi salam. And the angels did as they were told, except Shaitan. He disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is because he was proud and he disbelieved and was disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can see here clearly that Shaitan's arrogance, reinforced by his false logic and rationality, is very, very, very harmful for him, because it prevented him from obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command. And let's realize, it's not like us when we disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shaitan had no influence, right? There was no Shaitan to Shaitan. It was just himself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, Shaitan said, I am better than him. You created me from fire, and him you created from clay. Even though he knew Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala better than you and I did, let's be real, he was in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was worshipping him. However, we both know that we, if we were in that place, should have prostrated. Yet, his logic doesn't agree with that. We can see here how twisted and utterly psychotic that mindset is. You're standing in front of Allah and he tells you to do something. Like it's obvious you should do it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then asked Shaitan's reasoning for why he didn't do as he was told. And Shaitan said, I am not the one to prostrate myself to a human being, whom you created from sounding clay of altered black smooth mud. And verily, the curse shall be upon you till the day of recompense, or i.e. the day of resurrection. In the Quran it says, Iblis said, because you have sent me astray, surely I will sit and wait against them, the human beings, on your straight path. Then I will come to them from before them and behind them, from their right and from their left, and you will not find most of them as thankful ones, i.e. they will not be dutiful to you. He has such confidence in his motive. He has such confidence in his actions that he literally openly declares it to you and I, that he will sit from all angles against us. Now, if you don't know his primary goal already, we can see here from his backstory that his goal and his story in our lives is to lead us astray. This is obvious. You and I both know this. But this was just some little more insight on his backstory. Now, let's get into some of the ways he does this. I mean, how? How does he fulfill his goal, which is to lead us off the straight path? Shaitan is a manipulative liar. He won't let you have anything good, and he doesn't want you to. And again, this is what drives him. This hate towards you and I. We didn't choose for this hate to happen. We didn't choose for Shaitan to hate us, but he does. There are two main ways that I've noticed he does this. Firstly, your head, and secondly, the society that he has built around you, his empire. First, let's go into how does he do this in your head. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cautions us in the Quran, and he says, verily he and the qabiluhu, i.e. his soldiers from the jinn or his tribe, see you from where you cannot see them. Every one of us has a jinn. This jinn is deployed by Shaitan at birth to then trick us into doing evil. He whispers all the things the bad things obviously that we have in our head. For example, if you have depression, if you have anxiety, if you have a lot of desire to do sin, all of that is from Shaitan. So again, he doesn't want us to succeed spiritually, mentally, physically, and socially. So the jinn mainly focuses on the spiritual and the mental aspect, on how he wants us to take us out. Because spiritually and mentally, it's all in here. And Shaitan has a place inside here with the jinn, so he tries to whisper thoughts that affect our spirituality and our mentality. And the second way that he influences you or tries to take you off the straight path is the empire he has built around you, i.e. modern day society. By the empire he's built around you, I mean the system of the world. It's no surprise to the keen eye that all aspects of this world, and most of it financial, political, economical, the entertainment industry, the money industry, all of these industries and all of these gigantic aspects are controlled majority by Shaitan himself. If we look really closely on how the world works, we can see clearly that he has an influence over us. Now, the hidden system that Shaitan has built, this video would be like 5, 6, 7, 8 hours long just trying to explain that. The story of the Freemasons, the story of Illuminati, all of these things, who do you think these people work for? They obviously work for Shaitan. Why do you think they want us to not own anything? It's because spiritually and mentally they don't want us to succeed, and physically and socially they don't want us to succeed. They know that Islam has all the answers. This is obvious. Shaitan knows Shaitan. Shaitan knows Islam as to be the key to getting out of his grasp. So thus, he has tried to take initiative to make everybody a slave to him rather than a slave to Allah. This is also a very, very good point. Shaitan wants to try and copy or imitate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in so many ways. He wants us to worship him and not Allah. Sacrifice this world for the hereafter. Everything that's happened in this world politically, they had their hand in it. Again, this isn't so brief, but just know that there are groups that are so powerful and so influential in this world that work for Shaitan. However, these groups have no power except what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can give you power against them if you turn towards him. Now, before we move into the how to counteract him, who will we blame at the day of Qiyamah? I mean, will we be able to blame Shaitan for our bad actions? No, because Shaitan only incited us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, and Shaitan will say when the matter has been decided, verily Allah promised you a promise of truth, and I too promised you, but I betrayed you. I had no authority over you except that I called you and you responded to me. So blame me not, but blame yourselves. I cannot help you, nor can you help me. I deny your former act in associating me as a partner with Allah by obeying me in this world. Verily, there is a painful torment for the zalimun. polytheists, and wrongdoers. We can see here that Shaitan and trying to follow him will get us nowhere. I mean, he literally clearly states that I called to you and you responded to me. And he's literally saying here that he has no authority over us. Although yes, he has a place inside our head and in society, and almost all these gigantic big aspects of society are controlled by him, and the hidden world that he has control over is so real. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only one who gives him power. If we turn towards Allah and try and follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his ways, and try and follow the pious Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam and the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, we can escape his grasp, and we can escape the painful torment that lies beyond this world, which is Jahannam. Now, we've went through all of these aspects and all of these things. Now what do? Shaitan is trying to control you and I. We are not bystanders in this. We have to counteract his efforts. We have to actually try and deny him. We have to try and deny his waswas. We have to try and deny the influence he has over us in the society. Yes, you and I were born into this world, and we didn't choose to be born. We didn't choose to have free will. We didn't choose to be an enemy of Shaitan. But we have to be. And we have to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to then get back to really where we belong, which is Jannah. So now that we know in brief what Shaitan is, who he is, why does he do what he does, now let's go into how we can counteract him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, and if an evil whisper from Shaitan tries to turn you away, O Muhammad, from doing good, then seek refuge in Allah. Verily, he is the all-hearer, the all-knower. First, let us make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us against Shaitan and his plot and his plan and his influence over us. The best way to try and counteract Shaitan is simply by trying to follow the pious, the people who've already reached Jannah, already gotten Jannah even in this world, those being the Sahaba radiallahu anhu. If we can try and follow their way to the best of our ability, we can then attain their results, which is Jannatul Firdaus. Now, I've made an entire detailed process on how we can counteract Shaitan in a video that I'll link over here. Again, it's the same video I mentioned in the beginning of the video, which is a process or a plan called Muslim amelioration, which basically means to improve ourselves as Muslims, to then counteract him spiritually, mentally, physically, and socially. And in there, I mention a process called Shaitan scripting. So for example, right? Throughout the day, let's say you are depressed and you're suicidal. Throughout the day, there are going to be many thoughts Shaitan tries to implement throughout your head. So for example, one could be kill yourself. So then in your journal, when you get that thought that kill yourself, you're going to write down literally on paper, kill yourself, in brackets like that. And then let's say there's another suicidal thought. Life isn't good, or life isn't worth it. Then you write it down like so. You can see. Now, basically, we're going to write down all of the thoughts that could occur. And then at the end of the day, we're going to look at these thoughts. He said, kill yourself, life isn't worth it, etc. He's trying to get me to be suicidal. So thus you write on top of all of these thoughts, or in a bracket like this, like so, you write out the side of the page that you write down basically what he's trying to get you to do. So he's trying to get me to be suicidal. That way you now have in words on paper what he is trying to get you to do and his goals and motivations for you throughout the day. I heavily recommend you watch the entire video on the process of Muslim amelioration. And if you are a Muslim, a young Muslim man, spiritually, mentally, physically, socially, you want to improve in all of these categories, I heavily recommend you join the Discord link below. I also have free coaching and help you make goals as well as make a schedule, make plans and routines, etc. And also help you with any other problems you may have had as a Muslim on self-improvement, like depression, anxiety, falling into the same mistakes again, trying to be consistent, all of that. I can help you with them if you fill out the free form for coaching. All of that will be in the Discord server linked below, as well as if you want to get the chart. So if you want to get many resources to improve yourselves as a Muslim, I heavily recommend you join the Discord server as well as watch that video. This guide was very brief, and there are many more things we can say on Shaitan and how to counteract him. But just know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has all the power, all the might, and if we fight against Shaitan, we will surely end up in Jannah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.